What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the Thomas Gallery, and today I have a little art talk, and I want to talk about light source. All right. Now, artists all around the world know that the one thing that's very important in art, it's extremely important, it's pivotal to art, is lighting, a good light source. Okay. I want to talk about the different types of light sources. You have two, basically. You have natural lighting, and then you have artificial lighting. Okay, and they're easy to define. They sound just like the name just implies the same. So, well, the definition is pretty much in the name. I want to start with artificial lighting. Then I'll start with natural lighting. Okay, artificial lighting is when you use a source of light that isn't the sun, or you have in your mind a light source that you're thinking of to portray in the image, in the drawing, in the painting, things of that nature. Now, with carving, you don't need you don't need to imagine an art source because it's already a naturally 3D object that the light from the sun or the light that you're making will bring it to you. But when it comes to a drawing or a painting, you have to imagine a light source, meaning you have to take yourself inside of the actual paper or canvas and say to myself, okay, whatever I'm going to paint or draw, where do I want the light source to be? I have to imagine this, okay? I have to create in my mind an artificial light source. So when I do my painting or drawing, I could put the lights where they need to be on the drawing or painting, and you put the shadows where they need to be. Because now you have to actually trick your brain into believing that there is a light source on the drawing or painting when there is none. You have to actually trick your brain and say, okay, I'm doing a drawing that's already, because the paper is 2D, it's two-dimensional. But I want to give the illusion of a 3D object inside of a 2D piece of paper or a 2D canvas. I want to give that illusion, which means everything that I put on this canvas or paper is in itself an illusion. The subject matter, the dimensions, the background, the middle ground, the foreground, the textures, the actual textures, the fabric that I want to create, even the light source. The light source itself is an illusion. Okay? It's an illusion. Which means I have to trick myself. I have to get into the act of tricking my brain to say, okay, the light source is going to be on the left. So when I'm drawing or painting, I'm going to make the light source on the left, but make the shadows on the right. And depending on the angle, it could be horizontal, it could be diagonal, things of that nature. Or if I want a light source above me, the shadows will be going down. I'm going to get that illusion in the drawing or in the painting. Okay? That's basically what happens when you have artificial light sources. And the thing with light can be very, very tricky depending on the subject. Because if you're drawing a tree, right? Let's say you're drawing a tree, or you're painting a tree, and you want to create the light source that's going to be touching this tree. You know that you got to take into account all of the leaves, the different branches and twigs. You know, you got to take into account what kind of tree it is, how many leaves are on there, the color of the leaves. Because depending on the color, like if it's autumn, you'll see a lot more yellows and reds and oranges than you would in the summer or in the spring. So you got to take that into account when it comes to light. Because certain colors, you won't be able to see the light as well. Like on yellow, if the leaf is yellow, you'll have a more difficult time seeing the lights on yellow. You able to see it on the orange or red, but on the yellow, not so much. So you have to take that into account. Okay. The second part of this is natural lighting, meaning if you're let's say you're drawing a portrait, or you're painting a portrait, right? And the person is sitting in a chair and they're modeling for you. When they're modeling for you and you have, okay, you say you want to draw somebody outside. Let's say you're outside like we are now. We're outside right now, right? And let's say I want to do a self-portrait. This means a drawing of myself. As I'm looking in this camera right now, and I'm looking at my face, the structure of my face, and where the light source is. He said light source is right here. It's right there. That means that the sun, the natural light is hitting my head at a certain angle, and it's also, you see it on my nose. But right there, you see where the shadow is. I mean, you see where the light is, the highlight, you see the shadow. You see where the highlight is, you see the shadow. You see my finger, the highlight, you see the shadow. That's natural lighting, meaning you don't need to imagine a light source. You don't need to imagine it. The sun is already out. The sun is out, it's up. So there's nothing to imagine. There's nothing to think, there's nothing to fool in your mind. You can just paint or draw what you see, okay? Even if you're drawing on paper or you're painting on canvas, which are both 2D mediums, even if it's 2D, the model itself is, you're not imagining it. The person or the object is right there in front of you. So you could either use the sun as a light source, or you could use like a light, like a lamp or something like that, to shine a light source on the subject. Even though technically a lamp or a light bulb is technically artificial lighting because it's not the actual sun. The sun is the only true natural light. Or anything that has light coming from it. Like a lightning strike has light coming from it. A firefly has light coming from it. Right? So because those things have natural light, technically, that's a bit of a technicality. A lamp can be considered artificial. I will put them on the artificial realm, but because I'm using something but you don't have to imagine where the light is coming from when you have a lamp. You don't have to imagine where it's coming from. The light is already shining. You don't have to imagine where the light is coming from when the sun is out. It's already there. I don't have to think up or imagine where a light source is coming from when I actually have an actual light source. But if I don't have a light source, with me, and I'm drawing an object, a three-dimensional object on a 2D surface, and I don't have a natural light source with me, like if I'm drawing off the top of my head, I have to create a light source. I have to make an artificial light source, right? But if I'm drawing an actual person or an actual place or an actual thing, I don't need to use my imagination for a light source. The light source is already there, either from the sun or from the light in your room or from a lamp or whatever it is, a car light for all you know. But it's still, you have a light source. So yeah, let's see what else. Oh yeah, that's why for a long period of time, if you've noticed, many of the paintings or the old master paintings, they did a lot of their paintings outside. Like you see a lot of Monet paintings outside, and there's a reason why. One, they didn't have lamps back then. The lamp was not invented back then. You had candle, but if you wanted like a big source of light, the largest source of light you can possibly have is the sun. Can't get no bigger than that. So if I look outside right now, if I'm outside right now doing a painting, right? and I wanna paint all of this. Do you see all of the lights that are going right here? See all the lights? All of the different colors, the shadows, you see all of the shadows right here? All of the shadows, all the lights. All of that comes from being able to use the sun as a light source. And many of the old masters loved to go outside and paint their subjects, whether it be a person, place, or a thing. They painted those person, places, or things outside because of the light source. Now you have some paintings, like you have Rembrandt paintings where you see people inside. Well, you can use a candle. That's fine. You can use a candle, or you can use a light that's coming through the window. But a lot of the paintings for a long period of time use the sun as a light source because it's the largest light source you have. You can't get no larger than light source. All right, so that big guy. Now, me personally, I flip flop. It doesn't really matter to me. There are certain subjects that I want to paint outside, or there are certain subjects that I want to draw outside, and then there are some. I would say 55, 45, 55% artificial light source for me, and 45% natural light source. If I were to do like a percentage, 55% of my work comes from an artificial light source. 45% comes from the sun, natural light source, things of that nature. That's just me. You know, it can easily fluctuate. It makes no difference. No, we live in a day and age where you can manipulate light in ways you want to get the kind of light that you want. It happens. All right? So, anything else? No, that's it. Thank you all for watching this video. Leave a comment down below. Hope you learned something. Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. I will catch you all later. Peace.